solid process at OMG that has been developed over 32 years. And part of that is we want to make sure that the public has a voice, the industry has a voice. Even if you're not an OMG member, we want you to contribute your voice. We want to hear from you and be a part of our conversations. And these are some of the ways that you can do that. We have several acronyms that we love to throw around. So I thought I'd identify and define a couple of them for you. First is an RFI, Request for Information. These are published by OMG task forces when we are looking for information from the public or from industry. We're looking for your input on what is important to you, what your problems are, the issues that you see in the industry and the environment around you. We want to hear from you. RFI is how we reach out on specific topics and look for more information. Once we have that information, our task forces will compile it and analyze it and produce what is called a request for proposals. And this is a statement that essentially says we now understand what the general scope of the problem is, and we believe that we have a set of requirements that are needed to solve it. Request for proposals is looking for proposed solutions. In other words, a proposed specification. And those come from our membership. However, if you see an RFP that you would like to jump in on and you would like to be part of our process, but are not yet a member, you can still register your intent to be part of the process by filing what is called a letter of intent. In fact, all of our members have to file a letter of intent as well, or an LOI. And what this does essentially says, I want to be a part of this process. If you are already a member, great. If you are not already a member, our staff will reach out to you and make sure that you can be brought on board in the easiest and smoothest way possible, including getting integrated into our processes for authoring specifications. You're also going to see letter of intent deadlines on the upcoming pages, as well as submitter deadlines. There is a deadline for each response to a request for proposals. They must all be submitted by the same deadline, so they can be analyzed and they can be compared against the requirements and evaluated. We also have a deadline for voting lists, and this is where our membership indicates their desire to have an official voice in a specification process. They want to be on the voting list. Any member can join if they're of the correct membership tier. We do have a couple of membership tiers that are more observational, but if you have a more integrated and more established membership tier, you can join any voting list that you like and bring your voice into that conversation. One wrinkle that I would actually like to point out, one detail rather, is that OMG has a rather unique voting process in that we are not one person, one vote. We are one member organization, one vote. So it really levels the playing field for smaller organizations. You can have a small consultancy shop with half a dozen employees, and that has the same amount of weight in our specification process as an international, mega conglomerate. So it really allows the specifications to rise and fall on their own technical merits and the amount of innovation that is incorporated into the specification and how properly and concisely they describe the best practices of an industry. So it's a really great way for smaller organizations to have their voice amplified in vast multiplicity over the size of their relative size in the marketplace. So something to consider.